Welcome to Friday night's video in our Master Series. This is the 39th video I do believe in our Master Series and the 9th video in our first phase processing. Tonight we're going to talk about harmonizers a little bit. The first concept of harmonizers are to add harmony. Like when we're in the last video talking about chorus and doublers, that would be an effect. So we're not shooting for that right now. There's another application for harmonizers that's really great. If you look at a waveform, like there's an example of looking at a square wave, or you're looking at a sawtooth wave, or you're looking at the components of a bell and the harmonics that are inherent in it, an accordion or a vocal. You can see these are at different levels. So you being able to boost some of these harmonies, like let's say you have a third here that is in this vocal. This is the root. You got the root again here, and then the third above that root, which is the fifth harmonic, that you need to boost it because it's out of whack. I mean, in this person's voice, that you want to fix that and boost it a little bit, or this instrument or whatever you're dealing with to try to make it sound better. That can be a difficult concept, but there's a couple things you can do. First of all, before we go on, that some type of signal routing tools that you can get a hold of. This one's called SigMod for signal routing, signal modification, for splitting the signal and things like that. It's a really great tool that I suggest you look at. In my DAW, I have this. I can go in here and I can actually split the channel. So what's happening here is what I'm going to show you is that, let's say I've got this test tone generator. I turn on this test tone generator, and if you look at this spectrogram, you can see this test tone at 500 hertz. Now, let's say that we're looking at that vocal or something, and this is a really simple harmonizer from Pitch Proof, and it's just a real simple, cheap one. You can do all kinds. I'm going to use this one as an example just to show the concept. So basically, I can get different harmonics off of fundamental. The concept's the same. So pretend that you have a vocal on there and it's got this second, this fourth, and this sixth harmonic of it that if you look on here, you can actually see it. Well, in most applications with a harmonizer like this, trying to adjust those harmonics, we're doing increasive harmonics. In the case of we've got that vocal with that harmonic off the fundamental that needs to get boosted a little bit to make it to sound better. Now, most of the time, the harmonizer will follow the fundamental. So you can see that each one of these harmonizers, I've got the fundamental coming down over here off its own signal path, and then these harmonizers are on different signal paths combining together down below. So basically what's happening is I've added those two. Let's say there's, in this sound, I've already have a second, a fourth, and a sixth harmonic coming off there. The cool thing about this is with some type of application, signal modification application, that you can actually reduce it. So in this application, let's say that I'm going to reduce this, so you can see the second harmonic, how far it's gone down. You can see I've reduced it way down. I'm going to put it back up at 0 here, but what I'm wanting to show you is, let's say you have this fourth harmonic over here. Now, you've got this fourth harmonic that is looking, let's say, in the actual sound, that it looks more like this. So you're looking at this fourth harmonic that's way down. That's changing the harmonic texture of the sound. So you have the ability with a tool like this to actually boost it up. You can actually boost that harmonic sound to where it's coming up to where you want it, or you might want it more. Most of the time, this is going to be boosting those frequencies, almost using it like an EQ. So you'd be boosting it. You'd want to push it way up, and you'd have that fourth harmonic that's riding up to where now it sounds good. Now as he's singing, or bouncing around, now that harmonic is at a decibel level that's more complementary to the harmonic envelope of the sound. That sounds really simple, but it's a very complicated subject. First complicated subject is the harmonizers don't work really well at that, and sometimes they can cause audio anomalies, so you got to be real careful about that. But sometimes they don't. Does that make sense? And sometimes you can find frequency content like that with a tone generator. There's times that I've taken a tone generator because I couldn't find a harmonizer that did it really well. And so I would take the tone generator, put it on there, and then I'd automate the frequency to where I automated it. And you'll see when we talk about EQ automation that it automated that frequency to follow the other frequency around that fourth or that sixth that I was trying to boost, to where it followed it around. It followed around and kept boosting it. It would, as the guy was singing, it would go, and then I went down and here and there and everywhere, and followed it around like that with automation to boost it where I wanted it to boost that one harmonic. Because there was no other way to do it, to try to focus on that one harmonic. I'm going, there's a problem in that vocal, and on that vocal or whatever instrument it is, that this flat seventh here in this vocal has got to come up some. I mean, to make it sound right, because it doesn't sound that good in this vocalist. In this other vocalist, like I say, this third is the problem, is normally around up in here, and that's got a nice sound. It really does. But in this vocalist I'm dealing with, that harmonic is way down here. I need to boost that up to get it to sound right. This is a huge and complicated audio engineering subject, but the better you get at sound sculpting, the better you get at audio engineering. This is an invaluable tool that can really help you to, when you've got issues like that and you've mapped out this vocalist, or you've taken those test sample tracks I talked about, and the vocalist goes and then he gives you some samples to fuss with, and you start looking at it, something doesn't sound right, and you start looking at the harmonic content of his voice, and realize that there's some couple harmonics that seem to be out of whack that I can boost with EQ. We'll talk about equalizing and automation in I think the next video, but this is a tool that can do it also. Harmonizers can be great for that. And remember, we're not talking about harmonizers as an effect. We'll talk about effects in the next step. But we're talking about sound sculpting tools, because all the rest of the harmonics in the sound are fine except for this third. We're not trying to add, harmonizer effect. We are trying to fix this third and boost it up so that now that his envelope of sound, that is his voice and his transducer, sounds much better. Which can be one of those things that you're changing the guy's voice. That's not the way the guy's voice sounds or the way that girl's voice sounds. That can be true, but, sometimes, whatever you can do to make them sound as good as possible, they're going to love you more. And or if it's your own stuff, your stuff's going to sound so much better. So it can be kind of a trick, but then also that they will love you and you will love your own stuff better, so you're not going to really care once it's done. Trust me on that. And so that can be a conflict. But anyway, it's a huge tool. So check that out. See what your dog can do about signal modification. Experiment around with some harmonizers. Download some harmonizers. Buy some harmonizers. There's lots of them out there, and you just got to really keep in mind of what you're trying to do, that you're really trying to target certain harmonics that are off of the fundamental and adjust them. Trying to boost them with a harmonizer, that the harmonizer is going to read, coming into the signal, it's going to read that root, and then it's going to make a sixth harmonic off of it. And that one is the problem, that you need to boost some, and you need to boost it some. And the harmonizer automatically follow that fundamental around. The guy's going da da. That it doesn't care. It's going to hear that fundamental, and it's going to cause a sixth harmonic off it that you want to boost some. So it's going to go da da da. Does that make sense? The algorithms have had problems, so you got to be careful you don't start causing audio anomalies. But the cool thing about it is, if you just focus on one harmonic instead of using it as a harmonizer, that it is blending in there with a whole bunch of other harmonics. So there's a better chance you can use it as a tool like that, and you not being able to perceive an audio artifact, because sometimes you use harmonizers on a voice, and as the voice goes around, that you're using a harmonizer on it, and it sounds like weirdness and audio anomalies, as you're trying to use it as an effect, because the algorithms don't work that good to do it really well. But for that kind of work, it can do a really good job. And if it's off a little bit, like it's falling a little bit slow, or there's a little bit of delay or something going on, it might not be real perceivable, and you won't be able to notice because of all the other harmonic content that's masking it and masking any audio anomalies that the harmonizer might be causing. So, peace, hope, love. I hope you have fun fussing around with your harmonizer, trying to sound sculpt and fix issue harmonics in your envelope sound of whatever instrument you're working on. And I'll see you in the next video.